What's up, guys? My name's Jonathan, this is my Canon, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cannoneer. Now today we've got a subscriber shot special by a brand new designer that you guys haven't seen on the channel before, Steve from ADHD Hobbies. Now Steve was kind enough to send me his design. I did print them and assemble them at my house, so I'll show you guys how all that's put together. But he did not give me a name for these, so I decided to call them the washing machine rounds, and I think you guys will probably see why when I show you how they're put together. So I'll meet you guys over at the shop and I'll show you how they're assembled, and then we'll start shooting them out of the cannon here. But a couple of things before we get on over there. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and drop down below and hit that subscribe button. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to want to keep up with all the fun stuff that we're going to be shooting with the cannon here and out of the cannon coming out in some future videos. And I greatly appreciate each and every one of you who've already hit that button. And if you guys want to be like Steve and maybe send us a projectile of your own design to test out of the cannon here, all the information for the subscriber shot special will be down in the description below. So I'll meet you guys over at the shop, we'll assemble those rounds, and then we'll shoot them out of the cannon here. Okay, y'all, so since this is a hybrid style round, we're going to start out with our 3D printed body here. This is made out of PLA at 50% infill, and then that front cavity is going to get filled with about 9 or 10 1-inch washers. And I'm going to put a 5-inch by 3/8 inch bolt all the way through there, put a 3/8 of an inch washer on the other end, and then we're going to put a 3/8 of an inch nut on there and tighten everything up as tight as I can possibly get it. So this is the directions that Steve sent me, so hopefully I followed them correctly, Steve. If not, be sure to let me know down in the comments. But this is what these things look like when they're completed. And they're pretty nose heavy, so I've got some pretty good hopes that these will fly pretty straight. Okay, y'all, we're over here at Uncle Tommy's range today, and today we're testing out our washing machine round. You guys have already gotten a close-up look of how this is put together. This is by Steve over at HobbyADHD. So let's touch this off. Here's a nice close look at this finished round. First up, we're going to put a Coke bottle with our backstop down there just to see how they fly. I've got our chronograph set up to test these, but I'm not sure it's going to work because these are plastic, but we will find out one way or another. So for all of our tests today, we're going to be using 400 grains of 1F black powder. So we'll go ahead and get that nicely packed down in the cannon. Now our round today is a little bit tight, so we couldn't get a patch around it, so it's just going to go directly on top. And we're not going to put a wad to start with. We may end up adding one later if we need one. So let's find out how these fly. So it looks like these are going to perform pretty well for our very first shot. Is a little left. That's probably due to our red dot. We'll have to work on that in a little while. But for very first shot, these things look like they're going to have pretty good potential. 1007 FPS. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but we will definitely find out when we shoot a couple more of these out of our cannon here and get some other targets. Okay, y'all, washing machine number 2. We didn't change the point of aim so we can see how consistent these things are. And if we have to, we'll move them up just a little bit closer. But let's touch it off and see if we can take that Coke bottle out this time. So those two rounds basically went in the exact same hole. We're going to compensate with the red dot by pulling just a little bit to the right. But so far, these rounds are incredibly stable, and they seem to be pretty predictable. 1016 FPS, and it's swinging just a little left. So we'll pull our point of aim over and see if we can take out that Coke bottle with the next one. Okay, y'all, we went ahead and moved our point of aim over to the hole on the right side of that bottle. It might be the alignment of our red dot. We'll go ahead and test that out in a little while and get that thing straightened out if we need to. But for now, let's see if we can take it out with this round. Perfect shot. Compensate just a little bit to the right. These things are going to go dead on that target. And realistically, I kind of just like watching the water explode in slow motion anyway. There we go, 939 FPS on our chronograph, and we'll check out the damage to that bottle. Okay, y'all, the funny part is it actually left the bottom of the bottle sitting right there. You guys can see all the orange flakes from the plastic that have been sent all around. There's a chunk down there as well. And it sent the other half of the bottle all the way over here and blew it to pieces too. Some pieces of plastic in there. You guys can see the little orange bits and stuff in the bottle. So I'm excited to see how this thing did to that what damage that thing did on our slow-mo camera. Okay, y'all, we're aimed at the right edge of that pumpkin, so hopefully we'll hit it dead center. So it looks like this one actually broke in half, although the front part with all the weight in it seems to go pretty straight and hit exactly where we were aiming at. It also smacks into a tree in the background, which is pretty cool. But you can also see the two halves of the back part also float by on the screen there. And even though the back part did break off, it doesn't seem to much matter because it still hit where we were aiming at anyway. 1056, and let's go check out the damage to our pumpkin. Okay, y'all, here's our up close on that pumpkin from the front entrance hole, and it blew the back of that pumpkin basically to smithereens. It cracked it all the way through, bunch of cracks on both sides all the way around. Be a really cool jack-o'-lantern if you just stuck a candle in the middle there. Got pumpkin guts and some plastic all over our hood, so let's get rid of our pumpkin here and throw some ballistics gel. Okay, y'all, I just found pieces of the bolt and washer assembly right here. Bent to pieces, everything's all smushed around, but that's what those look like when they come out of the cannon there. Okay, y'all, let's see what kind of damage this washing machine can do to that ballistics gel. Once again, perfect hit of where we were aiming with that little slight compensation to the right. This one also smacks a tree in the background, just the metal part going through. But what I thought was really cool was that all the little plastic pieces just kind of explode and go everywhere, kind of like little shrapnel pieces. And beyond the big giant hole one of these rounds would put in you, I'm pretty sure those little plastic bits would cause you lots of problems. 983, and we hit it dead center, so let's go check out the damage. Okay, y'all, here's I think this is the exit hole on our ballistics gel here. So let me flip it over. I believe that is the entrance hole. And you guys can see all of that shredded plastic still stuck inside of here. Let me dig some of that out of there. All throughout here. There's the side there. You guys can see where it went in. Now I did up the concentration of our ballistics gel here a lot, so this is a really thick gel here. There's the exit hole. And I think what's happening is that plastic's probably mostly shredding off on the inside, and the washer nut assembly and bolt is what's coming all through there. So we'll check it out on the high speed and see what it looks like, but that's dangerous. I would not want to get hit with one of those. Okay, y'all, I really like these rounds. This is a cool design, but let's put one against our steel plate and see if it's just gonna explode or if we can drive that nut and bolt combination into that steel plate, but let's see what happens. $9.75, and let's go check out the damage on that plate. Okay, y'all, here's our plate with that beautiful little indentation from that washing machine round, and you can actually see the head of the bolt there indented as well, which is pretty neat. So those things are pretty scary. Okay, y'all, I actually just found the one that hit the steel plate. See how far it bounced back from where we hit it at, and it looks like it actually kind of welded everything together on the front there. So everything got really compacted down together here, and our nuts and bolts and everything and washers are all smushed together there. Nice flat surface. So you guys can see the damage that that thing did when it hit that steel plate there. Okay, y'all, here's our last washing machine round. Let's see if we can take out that big stack of catalogs and hopefully catch this one for you guys. I did have to let this one play just a little bit longer. One, I think it's cool to watch all the confetti, but two, I also think it's really cool. There's basically a giant perfect circle right there in the middle where all of those catalogs are getting pushed out to the side. $9.55 on our chronograph. I really like watching those catalogs explode, so let's go see if we caught it. Okay, y'all, here's that giant mess of catalogs. Here's a close-up look. Here's a nice, beautiful entrance hole right there. It caught part of it inside of our catalogs here. This is the hole for that. More in there. Went all the way through the catalogs, all the way through to the back there. I'm pretty sure that the nuts and bolts kept on going and it just caught the plastic. The plastic just stayed in the magazines and sent the nuts and bolts on through the middle there. Those are cool. Much appreciated, Steve from ADHD Hobbies. Hey, we found it. So here's that round right there. And it looks like it just shredded the front part off there. The back part moved up really far. It should be way back in here. But that's what's left over from our round there. I'm really glad we found this. So there you go. Well, guys, those are surprisingly cool and really effective. I quite enjoyed making those. That's an interesting design, and I think they performed incredibly well out of the cannon here. But more importantly, guys, what did you think? Would you take these over a round ball? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging around here till the end. Steve, thank you for sending us that awesome design to test out of the cannon here. Really cool design, very interesting. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all for hanging around here with me. If you guys did like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. It's really going to help this video get out into the world of YouTube. And don't forget about the subscriber shot special. If you guys want to be like Steve and send us a design to test out of the cannon here, all that information is down below in the description as well. So once again, guys, my name's Jonathan. This is my cannon, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode of The Cannoneer.